All right, we're live Tuesday, September 27th. The end of the baseball season is upon us. It's kind of sad every day as you look. And there's less and less games. The division races are kind of settling up, but playoff baseball is going to be awesome. Last couple of weeks. So with that in mind, as always, joined by Ev and Carl. With that in mind, biggest success of the season in terms of headlines. Biggest success of the season and then biggest failure of the season. Ev, success.
Um, honestly, realistically, in terms of like expectations to what they actually did, I have to say probably both in the same division. I'd say the Guardians probably did the best in terms of exceeding their expectations, and then probably the White Sox the biggest failure. To be totally honest, I mean, you talk about a team. I mean, you talk about that they pulled up the I picked Century pulled up the tweet from before the season started about the White Sox with the Will Smith and the empty house meme being like, damn, like who's going to show up to the division race? And then Guardians just end up running away with it when people thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And the White Sox just did nothing. So, I mean, I'd say those are the two for me.
We definitely gave out the Guardians with a plus sign on that, too. We definitely did that on this show. We definitely were like, take them
somebody
now.
pull
That's where
that.
it's going to go.
Yeah.
Carl, yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go out way west. I think as far west as you can go in Major League Baseball. I'm going to take the Mariners. And a lot of those trades, I mean, you look at that lineup, I think 6 or 7 of those guys are trades. And then you got Cal Raleigh, the switch hitting catcher with big pop behind the plate. It's all like good trade draft development. They've hit on so many of these guys. And then they went and they got some veterans to put around. They've got tremendous payroll flexibility. I know they just extended Luis Castillo. So him and Robbie Ray at the top, I think they're making $20 million. After that, you've got like Jesse Winker making $9 million, and then it's just like freaking nothing. So if you see the Mariners make some moves and get bigger and stuff, obviously around the J-Rod extension, it's just crazy to see that good come together. So many times that falls apart, guys get hurt or whatever. They're not a big market team. They've spent wisely. They've structured themselves well. A lot of trades in the Jerry DePoto era since he started in 2015. And finally, Mariners get their first playoff appearance, I think, in the last like 20 years or something. So just a great story. Failure-wise, I am inclined, obviously, to say the White Sox. I don't think anybody failed expectations as much. But there is a lingering sentiment with the Angels. I mean, they were in first place in A. They looked like they were starting to turn a corner, like they had to start pitching to come together. Obviously, how good Shohei is. If you look at Mike Trout in September, it's nauseating. I think it's like a 750 slug, 910 home run, something like that. We really want to get the Angels there, but I don't want to piggyback too hard off it. It is the White Sox, how disappointing they are, but fuck the Angels, man. I mean, come on, one time, one season, give it to me.
Yeah. That's a good one. I didn't put that on my list. What I had in terms of a short list of successes, I do think the Mariners get the gold medal here far and away. The Indians is a great, or the Guardians is a great runner up too. That's a good story that wasn't didn't cross my path. So I was interested to get your opinions. I know it's a little bit of a homer, and they could lose the division as I'm knocking on the wood. But the Mets, to go through what they've gone through with injuries and different shit like that, has been pretty good to have an out-of-this-world record. Like, if they won, like the Guardians are winning, with 86 wins or 87 wins, that's okay. The Mets are going to be closing in on like 100. It's pretty impressive the way they've done that. In terms of failures, I had the White Sox far and away. I still kind of think the Padres. I thought the Blue Jays, maybe, if they don't make a run in the playoffs, given their preseason expectations. And another one, too, kind of along the Angels, was the Tigers just being a doormat. Tigers had some, aspirations early in the year. They're like 60 and 92 or something like that. Like, they were defenseless from the get-go. So that's kind of where I rated it. I mean, at this time of year, you should, you unpack the stuff like that. Anything on that in terms of, successes and failures, or –
Well, Tigers are rebuilding again now, which is just like a tragedy because at the start of the season, to your point, I mean, it was like throw a plus sign on them. Let's get them over win total. Like, let's get real fucking spicy with the Tigers. They're legitimately rebuilding. That's such a sharp fall from grace. And the point with the Padres, I mean, to make them move for Juan Soto, I would say disappointing since the second half. I mean, a lot of that stuff with Juan Soto. Come on, like you would think the Padres would be. I think if you look at head to head against the Dodgers, they've just been destroyed on that front. And then what about the Red Sox being in last place? I mean, I know the AL East is going to go down as one of the best divisions in the history of Major League Baseball, this 2022 AL East, but the Red Sox finishing in last place. Was that for sure?
That That's a good
Were
one.
they? I don't know. We could go all. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing to start to unpack the season like more.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah, more. They are a success. I said it to Ev. So there's gonna be 6 teams that make the NL, and don't get me wrong, they're not gonna make the playoffs. They're not in the race, but and they could have won some games as it turns out, but they could catch them. They're 3.5 away from the Giants of being like the 8th best record in the National League. Now I know that's like the path to nowhere, and that's not what you celebrate. But the Diamondbacks, as we've talked about all year, are definitely pesky. So I love their future. I love what they can build. I hope maybe they go get a big time free agent. Maybe another bat develops in their farm system. Like I'm rooting for the Diamondbacks. I want us to be in the pool when they clinch the division. I really do. I think that's great fun. It's a great video. Let's make that happen. The hit parade. We had some issues Thursday in terms of like questions with pitchers and different things. So it's the only time it's been a long season. It's the only time it wasn't up there. So we're still at 20.95. I got Jack McCarthy. Jack McCarthy was waiting for me outside the office. Like, how dare you do this? Give me a big name. How dare you do this? Who is this guy? Vinny Pasquantino is on a 10-game hit streak. I told you he was going to be in it. Royals' top prospect has been great. 283 average. Vinny Pasquantino is my guy. Ev, who are you putting in?
We're going back to the well here, fellas. We're going with a guy by the name of Dansby Swanson. Phenomenal hitter out of Atlanta. Good matchup today on the mound. Dansby, he's going to come through. I feel good about him today.
I like how Ev has his crew and always splits up evenly his love. You know, he's got a special little thing. Like he takes Judge to the zoo and buys him cupcakes. But Dansby Swanson gets a new bike for his birthday. You know, he spreads his love with his guys. Let me tell you something.
He definitely
spreads it around.
My starting 5.
Exactly.
My big 3. I'd say I got my big 3 as well.
Just when one of them thinks they're excluded, he brings them back. So that's how he works. Carl, I have no idea who you're going to add for this one.
It's tough.
Carl truly has one kid. Carl is one kid.
You know what? Like as I'm stalling, you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for his stats on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I think this motherfucker's hitting 575. No joke. I'm taking Jose Altuve, the pride and joy of the Houston Astros. I don't care if he's clean. I don't care if he's dirty. This dude shows up. You throw him in the hit parade. When are they going to throw a minus sign? You see Altuve coming. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. No, it's good. So it just got priced 215 plus 215. So we're at 20.95. Would this get us to that 22, 20? This puts it right at MJ. Puts us at like 23.1. So MJ's where we were at. We said 25, maybe 30. We'll start getting crazy. We'll add.
What are you smirking at, Big F?
No, it just my group chat just keeps popping up, and I can't wait. I can't wait after I can use my phone to just drag my nuts across my friend's face.
Oh, okay.
That's the genuine answer. That's the God's honest truth.
That's awesome. I love that. Ev does seem like he throws shade in a group chat. He's the guy. He was in the
I got a guy throwing shade at me, and we were going back to him, and he just responded from before the show started, and I'm about to hammer him when I get off this.
All right.
Neither of you guys.
Dogs of the day. Speaking of big-time plus signs, I'm going to put this out there right now. I'm going to go with the Oakland A's plus 185. They're playing the Angels. They're on the road. We saw the A's potentially ruin the Mets season, going to steal one the other day against DeGrom. Like these guys, like you talked about, Carl, are big leaguers, got nothing to lose. I've been doing this thing where I have 2 bad teams, Reds, Pirates. I've been rotating who has the plus sign. I don't even care. We don't bet teams. We bet numbers. The A's plus 185 is a number to me. Give it to me. Carl, I think you're on the same one based on how many times you nodded on that little soliloquy. So who you on?
Well, when I'm looking for dogs, I like to find meaningless games. And I found a game on the calendar today. I was like, this could potentially be the most meaningless game of all time, requiring such basic minimum travel between 2 teams that would honestly just rather be taken outside back and just shot. And so I'm taking the A's plus 185, big fella. Of course. I mean, the A's they're just such a juicy look at, and a lot of these dogs are in playoff
Yep.
scenario seeding stuff. No, these guys are like, get us out of here, man. We got a
Yeah.
tea time and a reservation. Big Ev, come on, give it to me.
Is it
Give
a
me
clean
ace. Give me
sweep, Ev?
ace.
Because the last time we
Come
did
on,
it,
man.
Gallen threw a gem for us and we got robbed. So is it a clean sweep?
I'm upset because they were the other team I was considering, but I hate to break the news that it's not. I swear to God, the A's got a good look for me, a real good look. But I went a little smaller. I went with the Orioles. This guy Kyle Bradish has been so good in the second half. I've backed him quite a bit as a dog pitch for the Orioles. He's done very, very well. The Red Sox just stink.
They don't care.
They're both. I mean, the Red Sox are really out of it. I mean, the Orioles. I mean, the Orioles are pretty much out of it too. They don't got a ton to play for, but I like them in the spot here, plus like 115. I think it is. Give me the Orioles.
All right. Best bets. I have the Braves Nats over 8.5 minus 121. Kyler Muller is going for the Braves. He's only got 2 starts. He's got a 10.5 ERA. He looks like an opener. Looks like they're gonna go with some bullpen. He doesn't really go deep. And then the Nats have Paolo Espino, who sounds like he should be on a fucking soap opera character name. 4.17 ERA. He's 0-7. The Nats have checked out. The Braves had 8 by themselves last night. Just Nats show a little fire. Get me the one again. Let the Braves score the 12 runs that they score. Have Frank have another fucking conniption. We know the Braves are going to score over 8.5. I don't see how it doesn't go over. Carl, best bet.
Well, I think it's easy for me because it's that time of the year when the Milwaukee Brewers just simply do not lose games. It's like last 10, they need to get in. They had a tough last 3 or 4 last year. I don't give a shit. They're playing the Cardinals, Adrian Hauser at home. This is like a pure pick 'em. Pure pick 'em. I don't care what anybody's like. As coin flip games get, which is when you got to dig. And what are you digging for? That insight, the subjective, the baseball gut feeling that leads you one way or another. And I'm telling you right now, the sharp play is Milwaukee because these motherfuckers do not lose at home this late in the season against a team they've been playing all year long. It's just Milwaukee Brewer baseball. The fact they're still in the wild card hunt is insane to me. Like, I don't know if people are paying attention to this, but the fact that like they could ruin the Padres season and no one has said a word about the Milwaukee Brewers in, I don't know, since Brandon Woodruff was getting his tits lit in May. No, this is a team that can ruin shit. What do I think? Yeah, I think they could ruin it.
No, you think they get in over the Phillies? The Phillies are holding a 1.5 game lead.
I thought both the Phillies and the Padres were 1.5 game lead.
I'm saying
the Padres up to 2.
I'm saying the Brewers. Do you think the Brewers get into the playoffs? They're 1.5 behind the Phillies.
Yeah, and I'm saying I thought they were 1.5 behind the Padres as well. I thought the 5 and 6 were tied.
No,
I thought the 2 last wild card teams. Okay.
Padres have a 1.5 lead on the Phillies, and then the Brewers are a 1.5 behind the Phillies.
Why not? The fact my point is about the Milwaukee Brewers that they're a 1.5 out of the wild card, and I don't know if anybody knows that. And coming from someone who's watched the Milwaukee Brewers down the stretch against the Cubs for like the last 5-6 years, no, there's no sex appeal with this team at all. But everybody that they're going to put on that mound is going to be ready to pitch. Like, you're not going to get any of these shit. They don't shit their pants this late in the season. What they do is they lose games like 2-1, 3-2.
For sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting if the Phillies. If the Phillies do hold on, I'd put the Phillies in that success story that we talked about too. Change of managers, lit the world on fire, like just to get into the playoffs. Harper gone for a long period of time. I know, that's interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
He's hit 150 since he came back and over like 25 games or something with 2 pops. And I know he's a great presence and he gets on base at a high level. But man, if you're the Phillies, you got to be like. But if he's the type of guy who walks in the clubhouse, if he wants to play, you put him in the lineup.
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, but I do think if they make the playoffs, that is a success story. Ev, best bet.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Well, I hate to say this now because Carl just put that incredibly well. I'm on the Cardinals.
Okay.
I'm now petrified. Carl.
No, don't. No, you. Every time we go head to head, I've lost to you. Well. I've never beat you.
Honestly, for me, I just see Cardinals Brewers. There's something about me. I just don't like the Brewers. I just like the Cardinals, and I think the Cardinals are there to spoil the party. Just make sure they're out. Make sure the division rivals are out. I mean, Cardinal honestly is totally right. Brewers have been very good at home, but I don't know, and Nicholas too is one of those guys where like he's been good to me this year. So I'm when it comes to gambling, especially baseball pitchers, I'm pretty loyal. I keep going back to to the same guy. So here I am on the Cardinals.
Yeah, when you talk about it, the Cardinals are truly playing for nothing other than to just ruin the Brewers' season and keep them out of the playoffs. Today would be their 90th win.
Which I do think
I guess that's
matters.
Yeah, no, in division, yeah.
I think it does matter a little bit.
100%. I mean, that's, it's a movie, but for love of the game, it's not, it's not division, but when the manager says to Costner, like, hey, I don't want to just roll over to the Yankees here. Your job is to be spoiler of the party. That shit matters. So I could see that for the Cardinals, for sure. That definitely makes sense. Extra innings, anything in terms of awards? Are we just kind of running out the clock here for the playoffs, other than the Mets race really, which matters, but everything else is pretty much packed up. Guardians, the Yankees still haven't clinched yet, technically, right?
We clinched.
No, they haven't.
Playoff spot. I mean, we're up like.
But yeah, 7.5. That's over.
We're up like
that's a number.
With 11 games left. I mean.
Yeah, that's only a number. So everything's kind of wiped up. Is there?
Yeah, I
guess it's just really. Yeah, go ahead.
I texted Jack McCarthy late last night. Late. I was, Jack, get out of bed, man. What are you doing? Working? No, he's out at dinner. He said, I'll text you in the morning, Carl. He's never working hard. But I texted him. I said, Jack, please give me a price on Judge not to hit 62 pops. I don't care. Like, whatever that is, I want it. 8 games left. Ev hasn't popped in like 4.
I think we have 9.
I know.
I think we have 9 games left.
Okay. Listen, it's a ridiculous price. But if the price is big, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's pressing or what's going on up there. Other thing, too, between the Blue Jays and the Rays, I don't know if there's some seeding opportunities here for stuff to get moved around there. Last I checked, I thought the Mariners and the Rays, but the Mariners have been a little bit cold. So
what I'm looking at is the Rays and Mariners are basically identical, 84 and 69, 83 and 69. And the Blue Jays are holding a 3-game lead over both of them. So but I mean, the way the Blue Jays are going.
So would you rather go to the Blue Jays or go to the Guardians? There's a good question for you.
If you're who? The Astros?
No. Which wild card team would you rather be? Would you rather finish 5th or 6th? Would you rather go to the Guardians or would you rather go to the Blue Jays?
Well, no, the Guardians have the division.
Correct. They're hosting a wild card series.
Oh, got it. Would I rather go to the Guardians or go to the Blue Jays? That's interesting.
The first round is 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5.
Yeah. You're right. Now,
games. Yeah.
Now I'm getting the question. Weirdly, I'd probably say Cleveland because I think Toronto, with a little bit of that vax shit, could still be like a little bit of a question mark. In terms of which team, too, I don't know. Cleveland does the right things in the playoffs, and Toronto has been. They got a lot of potential, and the bats could kill you. But like, why are they 7.5 games still behind the Yankees? Why aren't people like all over the Blue Jays in terms of still being like a sexy future? I think the market, the Blue Jays are just kind of like there. I would say I'd rather go to Cleveland. Ev?
I'd 100% say Cleveland.
Yeah.
100%.
Give me the Blue Jays all day. Give me the Blue Jays all day. I want nothing to do with these Guardians.
It's definitely possible, so that's good. All right, hit parade. 20.95 units. Tonight we get to 23. MJ, hang the banner. We'll be continuing this all the way through with the playoffs. Obviously, I was looking. I think when the season ends on a Wednesday, there's a Thursday show that we can kind of unpack everything setting up for Friday. Those lines will start to get up. It'll be there'll be no picks that day per se, but it's a big time breakdown. So that works out to reset. I think that's like October 6th or something like that. So let's go. Let's get hot. Let's get to 30. Parlay all the best bets, parlay all the dogs, parlay them all together. We're due for another sweep. That is hot ice.